Welcome, Fright Night Vault listeners. Tonight, we descend into a story of shadows, a tale that begins not with blood, but with silence. A silence that spreads through a small town, clinging to the walls of old homes, heavy on the shoulders of those who walk the streets after dark. The nights there had always been uneventful, filled only with the hum of insects and the distant murmur of the river. But then, something shifted. The air grew restless. The silence was no longer empty. It was watching. At first, it seemed like superstition, a strange noise in the woods, a rustle above the tree line, a flash of movement across the moon. People told themselves it was just birds or the tricks of autumn winds. But unease crept into every explanation. And then came the eyes, glowing, red as dying embers. They stared from the dark, unblinking, as though they had always been there, waiting for someone to finally notice. One couple, driving late at night along an empty stretch of road, claimed the thing followed their car. Massive wings beating the air, its shape just barely caught in the headlights. Every turn they made, it was still there, never falling behind, never letting go. Others spoke of seeing it near an abandoned factory, a looming silhouette that towered above the ruins. Some swore it emitted a screech, a sound so sharp, so unnatural that it lodged in their bones and rattled their teeth. No one could say what it wanted. It never attacked. It never spoke. But each encounter left its witnesses trembling, certain they had brushed against something unnatural, something that was not meant to exist. And slowly, a pattern emerged. With each sighting came the same sensation, the same primal certainty. That disaster was drawing near. The sightings spread like infection. First a whisper in the diner, then a headline buried deep in the local paper. Families warned each other to stay in after dark. Teenagers dared each other to drive out to the back roads where the thing was said to perch. Hunters, policemen, factory workers, none were spared from glimpsing the impossible. One man swore he saw it crouched on a rooftop, its eyes glowing through the fog as if lit from within. Another claimed the wings blotted out the stars when it passed overhead. Some described it as bird-like, others as humanoid, but all agreed on one thing, the terror in its gaze. And soon, unease turned to obsession. Strangers began gathering at the places it was said to appear. Abandoned plants, lonely bridges, patches of forest where the trees bent in unnatural ways. They carried flashlights, cameras, even rifles. None of it mattered, for when the creature showed itself, fear stripped them of every intention but flight. A woman confessed to waking each night at exactly the same hour, certain it stood outside her window, though she never dared to look. Children began drawing figures with wings and eyes of red, even though no one had told them of the thing. Dogs howled and refused to go near the riverbanks. And always, after each appearance, came the dread of something worse. Engines failed without reason. Power flickered across entire blocks. A thick, unnatural fog rolled in and lingered for days. The town began to fracture. Was it a guardian, a devil, a warning? Some clung to the idea that it meant no harm, that it came to protect. Others whispered it was the very cause of the darkness it foreshadowed. But there was no denying the pattern. Wherever it appeared, fear followed. And with every sighting, the sense of an approaching catastrophe grew heavier, as though the creature itself carried the weight of what was to come. The warnings were no longer whispers. By now, the thing with wings and burning eyes had become woven into the town's very breath. Families locked their doors earlier, churches filled with desperate prayers. Some left altogether, abandoning homes to escape the shadow that clung to every street. And then, the night came. Witnesses recalled a chill in the air sharper than any before, though it was not winter's doing. An unnatural heaviness pressed down, as if the very sky were bracing for impact. That evening, the creature appeared in greater numbers of sightings than ever before. Drivers saw it circling above the river. Couples swore it perched on lampposts, its wings folded, its eyes glowing through the mist. Some described its screech splitting the night, a sound like metal twisting under strain, and still the dread deepened. Then, without warning, disaster struck. In the middle of rush hour, as families and workers hurried home, a great structure groaned, steel grinding, cables snapping like gunfire. The air was torn with the sound of collapse. The bridge that bound the town together, the very artery of its life, fell into the icy waters below. Dozens of cars plunged in an instant. The river swallowed them whole, its black surface broken by screams, headlights, and twisted beams of steel. Survivors later spoke of horror too great for words, of hearing children trapped in sinking cars, of clawing at frozen windows, of watching loved ones vanish beneath the current. And above it all, some swore they saw it. The red eyes, the wings, hovering in the smoke and mist, silent, watching, not saving, not striking, only present, as if its work had been fulfilled, as if the omen had reached its crescendo. In the aftermath, the town was never the same. 46 lives were lost that night, 46 souls swallowed in steel and ice. Survivors wandered the wreckage in disbelief, clutching at the cold riverbank as twisted beams jutted up from the dark like tombstones. Rescue crews spoke of the eerie quiet that followed. No more screeches, no more glowing eyes. The thing was gone, as if it had descended only to herald the tragedy and then vanished into shadow. For months, the community was gripped by grief and obsession. Was the winged figure a curse, sent to summon death? Or was it a warning, ignored until it was too late? Some insisted the creature was seen above the bridge as it fell, watching in silence. Others claimed it was never real at all, just hysteria and fear manifesting in fragile minds. But the story would not stay buried. Writers and investigators spread it far beyond the town until it became one of the most enduring modern legends. And now, the mask falls. The story you just heard is no invention. You can look it up yourself. The incident is called the Mothman Prophecies. It was captured in 1975 by journalist John Keel in his book of the same name, and brought to the screen in 2002 as the Mothman Prophecies film. What began as strange sightings in a quiet town became a symbol of catastrophe, an enduring mystery that refuses to be explained. So, dear listeners, was it a monster or a messenger? This is the Fright Night Vault. Subscribe if you dare, and never walk alone again. See you in the next video. And remember, sometimes the eyes in the dark are not watching. They are warning.